Welcome along to the Breakdown Live then for what is a game which every single Arsenal fan looks for in the calendar. And you had to look a little bit harder this year because it kept moving all over the place. But it is finally here, the North London derby. We make the short trip to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to take on Spurs in what is probably one of the biggest North London derbies for the last 20 years, that's for sure. Adrian Clarke is alongside me to discuss what we expect to happen this evening. Well, first things first, Clarke, if we win, we're in the Champions League, so let's get that in from early.
Wow. Yeah.
Secondly, how are you feeling, though?
Well, I think my heart rate has just gradually climbed throughout the course of the day. Early on this morning, I was just excited because I thought, today's the day where we can claim the Champions League, get our rightful place back in the elite of European football, and what a place to do it, what incentive there is. But the closer it's come, I've just got edgier and edgier. And as I got into North London tonight, I felt myself like going into a bit of a getting mode. I was getting a little bit aggressive, and I'm tense, but I kind of can't wait for it to be over, providing, of course, that we get the right result. The only thing I'm nervous about is it not going well tonight. I think. There's so much, I think, for us to believe in with this team. We can have faith in them to go and deliver that big performance that they need. I don't think Spurs are brilliant. Their front three are fabulous, but the rest of the side, I think we're better. And for that reason, I come into this game weirdly confident, and I hope that confidence is justified by full time.
It's funny you mentioned when you got into North London, you kind of got into a bit of a game mode.
Phase.
Game. But there are so many Arsenal fans dotted around the Emirates Stadium because obviously we're here at the Emirates in the studio, and it kind of felt like a home game for me because all the usual pubs that I go past on the way in for a home game, they're absolutely rammed.
Yeah, North London's stopped. It's at a standstill, isn't it? I got here slightly earlier, I think, and so it was a bit calmer. But I was on the same train line that heads towards Tottenham, and it was absolutely rammed. And you got that big night feel. And I kind of wished I was going there, but obviously we're here. We do the show from Emirates. But yeah, it's a special night, and I just feel that this is the kind of evening that the players have got to seize that moment and create some sort of modern North London derby history, because we've had some famous wins at Spurs down the years. But all of them are going back quite far now. I think this is a time for us to go onto enemy territory and to deliver a landmark win. It's all there for us this evening. I just hope we can deliver.
Just before we move on to the number, do you think it could potentially be? I'm not saying it's the same because obviously winning the league at White Hart Lane is, that's winning the league. But this is for this group of players and this crop of supporters, I guess, as well. Because let's not forget we haven't won the league for many years. A lot of Arsenal fans in their teens haven't seen that. Do you think this is that kind of defining moment for them if we do it?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, I think we were always going to win the league that season with the Invincibles. It was just the icing on the cake that we did it there. So it was a bonus. For this current generation, they haven't seen us really challenge for the title, and unfortunately, where we are at the moment, where Man City are with the financial disparity, we can't compete for the title at the moment. Top four is the best that we can do. It is our title, and I know it sounds bad to say it for any Arsenal supporter of my age or around that time. You feel terrible for saying that because we've won real titles, but where we are as a club right now and our position in the sort of food chain, this is kind of as good as we can do in the here and now. So it is huge. It's still in jeopardy. If we lose tonight, it will go to the wire. So it is a crossroads moment. And I just would love to see us sort of plant our flag, our Champions League flag on their turf tonight and say, we have done it. And to empty their stadium way before the end of the final 90 minutes. That would be really sweet for me tonight.
You're getting me excited. Clarke, you can stop talking like that. You're getting me excited. Right, we're going to have to look at the number then before I get carried away. So let's have a look at our number today. It's number 3.
There's only one. Yeah. It has to be 3 because 3 points. This is where we want to be.
Yeah.
I know that Arsenal fans are so nervous. They're in bits. I myself, I had a lot of work to do today. I found myself, the closer it got to kickoff, I couldn't concentrate. I just had to jack it in, basically, and get my head around tonight. Now Arsenal fans are feeling that way. They can't concentrate. But this is where we want to be. 3 points at Tottenham, and we qualify for the Champions League again. We've been waiting so long for this moment. It's perfect. We just got to hope we can deliver. We do have that little bit of wriggle room, which is nice, but I would like the team to approach, and I think they will under Mikel Arteta, who, remember, has won an FA Cup with Arsenal. He's won FA Cup semi-finals against good teams. I hope they treat it like a cup final, like it's a one-off game. Don't look beyond it. This is a one-off game that we want to win. And I want that positive mentality tonight. Go out there and win the game. And if we can't win it, we draw.
Yeah.
That's got to be the mentality, I think, tonight.
Just two things from what you just said. My uncle's one of those Arsenal fans who is in bits, so much so that he's gone to a pub quiz tonight. He's an Arsenal season ticket holder. He goes to every game and all that. He can't bear to watch the game tonight, so he's gone to a pub quiz.
He's going to be terrible. He won't be able to concentrate.
No, and you find out the score these days, don't you? You know what I mean? It's impossible to not find out the score. And the second thing that I wanted to raise, actually, was just before we came on air, you saw quite an interesting stat. I don't know if you remember it off the top of your head, but it was about Mikel Arteta and winning away at Spurs, right?
He was the last captain to win away, last Arsenal captain to win away at Tottenham, at White Hart Lane. It was 2014. So look, that's a nice little omen, isn't it? That he was the skipper. He knows what it's like to lead a team into the other side of North London and to win a big game. So I commentated on that game here at Arsenal. I think Thomas Rosicky scored an absolute worldie. It was great. Looking for something tonight similar, something equally memorable. That would be very nice.
Yeah. And the players that are tasked with that job, then I guess we should have a look at the starting 11 if you've not managed to see it yet. Ramsdale, it's the same team essentially. Ramsdale in goal, then Tomiyasu, Holding, Gabriel and Cedric Suarez complete the back line. Xhaka and Elneny continue in the middle. Just ahead of them, you've got Saka, Ødegaard, Martinelli and then Eddie Nketiah. So I guess it just goes to show that Mikel Arteta thinks he's found a bit of a winning formula at the moment and he doesn't want to change it. Yeah,
look, it's a sign of confidence. A lot of people have been speculating, will we change the system? Will we go with three at the back? Will we flip the team around a little bit to accommodate Tottenham's excellent forward line? You know, there's no denying that they're incredibly dangerous. But Mikel Arteta, by sticking with the same team, is basically sending a message out there that, no, we're going to do what we've been doing all season. You're not good enough for us to want to try and do something different. We're going to play our game and we back ourselves to beat you playing our game. So I think it's psychologically a positive move. The only query for me is, where do Cedric and Tomiyasu play? Obviously, it was Tomiyasu at left-back the other day because of Rafinha rather. Will he flip him back to right side now to look after Son, or does he keep it the same? Because Kulusevski's a very dangerous player himself. So I think it'll be as you were. I think Cedric will be on the right and Tommy will be on the left. It's a challenge for Cedric, clearly, but if he's got support with Rob Holding and Bukayo Saka, then he'll be OK, hopefully. But we need to protect Cedric if he is at right back, because Son Heung-min is, we're going to talk about him a bit later, he's got a great record in this fixture.
Yeah, ridiculous, actually. One of the positives for us as well is Ben White is back in the squad. He's on the bench tonight. So.
Great news, yeah. And I'm just wondering if we're in that position that we want to be in, where we're leading the game and potentially we want to shore things up, he could do a Holding, couldn't he? And come on and be that sort of guy towards the end where that helps us soak it up. It's great to have him back, and I'm a little bit surprised maybe he doesn't play at right back. That was the other option, wasn't it? You could chuck him in at right back and keep Tomiyasu at left back. If you want to go for a really probably have your four best defenders across that back line, but that's the option as the match wears on. Yeah,
I guess that they could be a little bit worried that he's a bit rusty after coming back from an injury. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. He was really good, I thought, in the home game, and he roughed up Harry Kane. He's a player that I think suits a match like this, Ben White. So I can only presume that there's a slight concern over whether he could last 90 minutes. So it's good that he's in the squad, though, and it's a tactical option, isn't it, for Mikel?
And just a mention on Spurs, Romero doesn't play for them, which is a good sign for us.
Yeah, like, on my timeline, I mean, I don't follow that many Spurs fans, to be honest, but Spurs journalists and stuff, they all seem very worried by Romero's absence. Personally, I'm not that much of a fan of Romero. I think he does a lot of things that are good on the eye, but in my opinion, he's got flaws. That said, I'm glad, from an Arsenal perspective, he's missing. Davinson Sanchez comes in, and I just don't rate Davinson Sanchez. So I would absolutely love to play on that weakness. I think Gabriel Martinelli can make runs in beyond him. Eddie Nketiah as well. I think those two can cause him real problems tonight.
Yeah. Right, we should relive the reverse fixture here at the Emirates Stadium from earlier on in the season. It was a comfortable affair for us, wasn't it? A great game.
Well, it's a rip-roaring start. First half, we've been a good first-half team, haven't we? We tore into Tottenham and they couldn't really live with us. Here are the two star boys from Hale End doing the business. We really did cause them problems in the wide areas at full-back. At full-back, I think they're weak, Tottenham. I genuinely do. Obviously, it's wing-backs now under Conte. Like Emerson Royale. This is one winger to another, by the way. Saka to Smith Rowe. This is them trying to press us, which they'll do again tonight, I'm sure. But we play through them, and you've seen a few goals like this, haven't we, over the course of the season? Going from back to front, playing fast, flowing football. Now, a lot of these goals that we've scored have come here at Emirates Stadium. But it's not to say we can't produce this kind of football away from home, and what a place it would be to do that tonight. Here again,
this is the one for me.
Yeah, I mean, poor old Harry.
He gives it away.
Yeah, look, I'm reticent to take the mickey out of Harry Kane too much because he's got such a good record of this fixture.
Yeah, right.
That I just don't want to jinx it and for him to be brilliant tonight.
But you have to get some joy from this bit, especially. Lovely assist.
Of course I did, and it was great to see Saka scored the goal, and I think on counter-attacks will be dangerous again tonight. They, of course, will be dangerous, on the flip side against us. But having beat these young boys, having played in the sort of atmosphere, the big game atmosphere, having beaten Spurs, not once but twice. Remember, we beat them in the previous derby, which was at Emirates Stadium as well. I think that should give us real confidence. In midfield, I think we really did dominate. What happened was in the second half, we sat back, though, in this game, and we invited pressure. And this is what can happen. A little bit like Leeds at the weekend. We sat back and invited pressure, and we came unstuck. And that, in my opinion, is something that we need to be really wary of this evening.
Do you that nervousness that we saw against Leeds and we've been seeing popping up, it has to be said, against West Ham, there was nervousness there, against Chelsea, against Manchester United, all games that we won, by the way. Do you expect to see that rearing its head again? Well,
I hope not, no. It might do if we lead. I think if we lead, it will, potentially, because the stakes are so high. Imagine if we're 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, it's human nature to start to protect what you've got. So yeah, that's why it'd be lovely to have a cushion. But I'd hope not. I'd hope that lessons have been learned, especially from that Leeds game, because that was unnecessary, really, at the weekend. That Arsenal could have ran away with that game if they'd have played in a more positive manner. I think that's the key tonight. A lot of people have been talking about this game thinking, we only really need a draw. Should we set up really defensively? And I think there's a real difference between setting up to be compact and setting up to be defensive. And they're two similar words, but they're very, very different. I see defensive as parking yourself on the edge of your own box, inviting pressure, saying, come and break us down. I would absolutely not like to see us do that tonight. But that doesn't mean you can't be compact. You can be compact further up the pitch, congesting space for their defenders to pass the ball out, congesting space for their midfielders to get touches on the ball, and congesting the forwards. When it comes into the forwards, we've got to slow them down. We've got to get really tight, one behind, one in front, and make sure they can't go that way. They have to go sideways or backwards. That's what being compact is. It's not about setting up to be super defensive. So there's a real differential there. And I think Mikel Arteta will preach that same message that I've just said. I really do, because if we sit back and invite Spurs to come at us for 90 minutes, they will break us down.
Well, that was going to be my next question, because there's been so much kind of chat online and from journalists and fans and just in pubs, amongst friends about how Arsenal are going to approach this game. Because it's a real conundrum.
It is a conundrum, but I think I want us to stay true to our principles. I don't want us to leave a high line. Clearly, you've got to be super careful. So you've got to get your distances right at all times, up and back together as a team. But I had a little study of teams that have done well against Spurs of late. Brentford, got a good draw against them, didn't have a shot on target. Brighton beat them, didn't have a shot on target. Spurs. Southampton went and beat Spurs at their stadium. All of these teams hassled them. They really harried them in the middle of the park. what they did was, in short, in simplistic terms, they impacted the quality of service into the front three, but by working really hard, particularly in midfield. Ball comes into midfield, bang, closing down. So really Spurs can't, they're playing hopeful balls forward rather than quality into the front three. And I think that's our best tactic tonight, to limit the quality into them. But it's easier said than done. They will have opportunities, clearly, Spurs, to run at us, to get in behind. And we're going to have to scramble and defend for our lives when that happens.
Yeah, well, what you were describing there, we can play like that, and we have many times. I mean, we can see some shots now of what happened when we were playing against Leeds, actually, and that's kind of what we did. You know, if you watch this.
Yeah, well, the first few clips highlight. I mean, this is pressing really high.
I mean, this is a perfect example. Really high. Doesn't get much higher than that, does it?
I mean, if there's an opportunity to do this tonight, do it.
Yeah.
This is what Arsenal, for me, when Arsenal press, when we're hostile, when we're really sort of belligerent, opponents don't like it, and we force mistakes. Eddie forced a huge mistake there. Here, look, this could be Hugo Lloris, this could be Davinson Sanchez, you know, playing out from the back. I want us to be there, 4, 5, 6 players squeezed up high, because we force a mistake. And from there, OK, nothing happens from that particular move, but we cause a problem. And this is us in possession. Let's play fast, fluid football, confident football. We're a very good team. When we knock the ball around quickly, at pace, we're excellent. Look at this, Xhaka around the corner. We're good enough to play this kind of football tonight against Spurs, and I think that we can hurt Tottenham, because their strengths are clearly in attack, as are ours. But that back three or back five, I think it's bang average. I really do. They fought for their lives at Liverpool. They put in block after block, and full credit to them for that. I want them to have to defend like that this evening. I want us to be creating the better chances.
Well, just on creating chances then, one thing that we discussed before the Leeds game, and it's kind of definitely carried over onto this one, is the importance of scoring first for this Arsenal side, because the difference in the points we amass from games where we've scored first compared to games where we have to chase is stark.
It's scary. It is scary. Let's have a look at them straight away. OK, we've been brilliant at scoring first. OK, City, Liverpool and Chelsea, the only teams that have gone 1-0 up more than Arsenal this season. And our record, look, we're averaged 2.45 points per game when we take the lead. That's excellent. And so first goal tonight will stand us in really good stead. Let's see the other side of the coin. That's among the worst in the division, unfortunately. We haven't been able to turn the tide very often. And the big alarming thing is that there's 9 games there where we've gone 1-0 down and we scored 3 goals from 1-0 down, and we conceded 22. Yeah. So that is the concern. So we don't want to be chasing this game. And Tottenham, let me tell you, like to start fast, as do we. But they've been really good at it. And so I think this is going to be a frenetic opening period, and we have to stay calm. And if we need to go long early on in the game and make it scrappy and bitty and just knock the ball out of play a bit and just make it a really ugly start to the match.
Take the sting out of it.
I think that's what we should do. When we get throw-ins, free kicks, goal kicks, I want us to be slow at the start of the game. Yeah. Not when we have the ball particularly, but if they're coming at us and there's a break in play, I want us to calm it down and just slow things down. You have to manage the game. As much as we want a fast start, we have to be really wary of their fast start. So, but look, who knows? Tonight, they might score first and we turn it around. These things are there to be broken. But over the course of this campaign, we've struggled in that regard. And think about it. You know, think about the pressure Spurs will be under. They need to win tonight.
It's a must-win game for them.
Like for them, we want to win, and obviously we need to win for Champions League. But for them, they really feel it's 3 points or nothing for them. So if we were to take the lead, we could break their hearts. And I think I speak for everybody watching and listening from an Arsenal persuasion. Breaking Tottenham hearts is exactly what we want to do tonight. So that first goal is huge. Yeah,
that sounds absolutely lovely. The collective sound of all those hearts breaking just down the road would be great. One man's heart who I would love to break before the game is your danger man, and it could only be one of 2 players, and you've decided to go for...
Son Heung-min. Yeah, it could have been Harry, easy. But Son Heung-min has been great, hasn't he? He scored
it pains me to say it, but he's just such a good player.
He's such a good player. He's got 20 goals this season. He's second only, isn't he, to Mo Salah. Their left-footed finish from Son, it was obviously a big, bad mistake, wasn't it? To give, that's what I'm talking about, an early goal, gifting them the lead. That's what we need to avoid tonight, because he's lethal. He's got the best conversion rate of any player that's got 10 or more goals this season, Son Heung-min. So, in effect, of all the best goal scorers in the Premier League this year, Son is the most lethal. He doesn't have that many chances. He tends... I know the figure because it really stands stuck in my mind. He converts a third of his shots into goals, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And he's shown that against us in the past. He's got 4 goals in recent North London derbies. We can't ignore Harry Kane. He's got 5 in 6 games against us at Spurs. So he's a massive concern for us, Harry Kane. But Son Heung-min is the guy, isn't he, this season for them. And here, look at the position he scores that goal from. That is key for me, because everyone's thinking, is it going to be Cedric or Tomiyasu that looks after Son? Well, he'll pop up at centre forward.
He was in the middle there.
Yeah. He doesn't actually stay out on the left wing that often. Obviously, the threat in behind is there for the right back to deal with. But I think he's just as dangerous when he just pops up as a centre forward. Now, that puts a big responsibility on Holding and Gabriel to keep their eyes open, on El Neni and Xhaka to drop in. You know, when we're up against it, we need bodies back in that box. I want to see a midfielder back there, because if one of them's got Kane, the other one might have Kulusevski. Someone needs to take care of Son Heung-min, and we might need a Xhaka or an El Neni to really make a conscious effort to drop in when he makes those sort of ghosts into the box. So that's a worry that we have to deal with. Yeah, we can't be frightened of him, but we have to be well aware of it.
Yeah, if we can shut him up, it will do our Champions League hopes, a really big favour. That's for sure. Right, you mentioned Kulusevski there, actually, and that's where we're going next in the matchup. But who are you putting him up against? Well,
yeah, I've picked this out because these are 2 new players to the derby, really, but they're 2 very similar players in that they're hard-working, brilliant creators, and it's Martin Ødegaard and Dejan Kulusevski. I've been so impressed with both of them. I think Martin has improved a lot since that loan spell. I wasn't convinced. I've got to be honest. Watch Arsenal very, very closely, analysing all the games. I wasn't sold on him for a lot of that loan spell because he didn't dominate matches. He didn't take them by the scruff of the neck. He didn't demand the ball and say, "This is me. I'm going to get it and I'm going to dictate." He does it now. And his stats are off the chart. Let's look at Kulusevski's numbers first. Really impressive. He's got 8 assists, 5 of them for Son, by the way, which is a worry. But this is direct goal involvements. What's a direct goal involvement? It's a goal or an assist.
Right.
Because he's only been here half a season. He won't be at the top of other lists. Look where he is when it comes to minutes per direct goal involvement. This is phenomenal.
He's above Son.
Yeah, it's almost won a game. Only Mahrez and Salah ahead of him. He is a player we cannot take for granted tonight. He presses, he works really, really hard. He tops the rankings at Spurs for distance covered, so he's a grafter. And Martin Ødegaard does the same for us. No one runs further than Martin Ødegaard per game. So I think these are really 2 similar players, isn't it? They're modern playmaker types that have in product, but they'll also do their bit for the team. Should we have a look at some Ødegaard stats? We've bigged up Kulusevski.
Let's get ourselves excited over Martin,
You've got to be happy with that, right, Nick?
Love that. Chances created in open play, 56, only behind Mo Salah and Bruno Fernandes. But all the other names on the list as well, they're impressive company. Bukayo Saka's on there as well.
Yeah, I mean, this was before last night, so I don't know what Bernardo and De Bruyne did last night, but these are stellar names in the Premier League, aren't they? And Ødegaard is up there, he's 3rd. He's on the podium. Saka's just behind him. We have creators that can hurt Spurs. Now, we're worried about Kulusevski, we're worried about Son, we're worried about Kane. It's understandable. That front 3 is excellent. I think it's a stronger front 3 maybe than ours. It's a stronger front 3 than probably everyone outside of Liverpool and City. Yeah, I think you have to say that. But they'll look at us, and they haven't got anyone like Ødegaard. No one, apart from Kulusevski, who's more of a wide forward. But they don't have that playmaker like him. We've also got Saka, who plays in the Kulusevski position. We've also got Martinelli, who's got incredible potential. So they'll look at those guys and be as nervous as we are about them.
Yeah. What's the form been like then of the two teams going into this game?
Pretty even, I've got to say. Not a lot to choose. I think over the last 6 games, we win. Over the last 8 games, 10 games, Spurs are on top. This is over 12, which is a bit more of a sustained period. We edge it by a point. But look at the goal difference. Look at the goal difference. I mean, that's a little bit of a worry. Spurs plus 20, we're plus 4. But what it tells us is that we've found ways to win games. Narrow games, we've worked out a way to win them. And for that reason, I think we should feel quite confident. So, you can't really tell too much about the form. I also looked at the form against fellow top 6 sides. It's really similar. We've won 3. This is Tottenham, against the top 6. Not great, is it? 2-2-5. Conceded quite a lot of goals in the games. If you look at us against the top 6, not great either, really. I mean, we've won 1 game more, but we've lost 1 game more. We've actually conceded more goals. So I think what those 2 tables tell us is that neither side is brilliant defensively against top-class opposition.
So looking at it, it would appear that this is going to be a tight game tonight, as all the stats there.
Tight, but it could be chaotic.
Yeah.
I think
chaos suits us.
I think it does. North London derbies tend to produce goals.
Yeah.
And I think there'll be goals tonight because neither defence is as good as their forward line.
Yeah. Right, the team's in the tunnel at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
That's gone quick.
It's round the corner for what is set to be a
Today's gone
huge
very
game.
slow, by the way.
I know, apart from this, funnily enough. Always flies when you're having fun, though, Clarke. Lovely spending time with you, mate. You've got a stat trick for us to finish up on.
Yeah, let's do this stat trick. Smith around Saka, both obviously on the score sheet. We saw it earlier. The last Englishman to score for us in both fixtures against Spurs in a season was Wrighty. Back in the day, 93, 94. I hadn't even played for the Arsenal first team at this point. So that's going back a while. Let's hope that one or both can do that tonight. Antonio Conte, I think we all agree he's an elite manager. He's one of the best in the world. He's done a great job with Spurs. Doesn't have a great record against us. Won just 1 of 8 meetings with us in all competitions. We've won some big games against his Chelsea side. And our 3-1 win at the Emirates in September, we're looking to complete our first league double over Spurs since 2014. We touched on it earlier. It's 8 years since we won away to Tottenham Hotspur. But look, that's long enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that is more than long enough. This fixture tends to be not a home banker, but I looked at a stat earlier. I think it's ranked 4th in Premier League history for the most home wins. So we tend to beat them here. Yeah. They tend to beat us there. Tonight, if ever we got an incentive to buck that trend, it has to be this evening. So much at stake for the team and for the club. Let's change it tonight. Clarke, thank you very much, my friend. Back at half-time, but what is set to be one of the biggest North London derbies for years is moments away, and taking you through the first 45 minutes at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Josh James, but first, Dan Roebuck.
A first North London derby in N17 with full capacity at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the first time, and what an occasion